Morning guys, Ray from Hike-ALOT. Hey, now that we're all living in this post-COVID world, it's no secret that there are more and more people enjoying nature and getting out and experiencing things that they hadn't been doing prior. But having said that, you don't have to look very hard on any given day to find people who are lost and out in dangerous situations that really don't have to be. Between the survival school and the hiking school, I get asked very often, what should I do if I get lost? So the thing that surprises me most about this is there's some really easy methods to deal with this that almost no one's talking about. So if you guys will stick around, we're going to dive through those real fast and just kind of walk you through the process and hopefully save your life if you get lost. Okay, hang on, stop. If you're ready to click off this video because, oh, this doesn't apply to me because I never go out in the woods because I always have my phone, all that good stuff, you have that sense of security, do me a favor, check out this book. It's a really fast read. You can pick it up on Audible. I'll throw a link to this down below if you want to check it out in the description. None of us are immune to this. Jerry, when she went out, she had her phone. She was on a marked trail. Everything should have been good, and it didn't go so well for her. Okay, if you go into YouTube right now and you do a search on what should I do if I get lost, you're going to get a ton of videos on the STOP acronym. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is an integral part of it, but it's not what this lesson is about. Just really quickly for you guys, the STOP acronym, the S is for stop. I replace that with sit down because if I physically force myself to sit down and process things, then I'm more prone to taking longer to do it. Think through what's going on. So in my head process, I'm thinking, okay, well, I walked 3 miles an hour. So I last saw a blaze about 15 minutes ago, so I'm probably 3/4 of a mile off potentially from where I should be. So that's kind of my thought process. And then my observation, I'm looking high, I'm looking low, I'm looking for blazes, I'm looking for, is that a fire tower over here, or are there telephone poles over there, or do I see people in the distance? I'm using all my senses. I'm listening. Do I hear water? Do I hear road traffic? Do I hear people? Just using my senses to kind of figure out what's going on. And then they get to the P phase of the acronym, which is the planning side, and then that's where everything grinds to a screeching halt. And so today we're going to talk about what you should do after that planning phase. Okay, guys, the first half of the secret is it's really hard to get truly lost in the continental U.S. If you've done that pre-trip planning phase of scouting the area and knowing what is around the immediate area that you're going into, whether it's on a trail or out for a hunt or just a little walk, and if you've done that research to see what your initial surroundings are, it's going to mitigate some of that and take some of the edge off of it. Having said that, just to kind of prove it, so there's a family traveling around. It's a husband, wife, and a daughter, I do believe, and they're chronicling everything. It's called Project Remote, and I'll put a link to their website down below. What they're doing as a family, they're going to the most remote area in each state. Thus far, they've done 40 states, and they've got them all mapped out here. Actually, I'll throw the map up here so you guys can see which ones they've actually covered. What they're defining as remote is furthest away from a house, furthest away from a road. And so far, out of the 40 states that they've covered, the average distance from a road, 6.5 miles. That's not that far. Average distance of those from a trail is less than a mile. So we're not so far removed from things. The least remote area that they have, which was Kansas, is just under a mile. And then the most remote they had was Wyoming, and that one came in at just about 21.5, I think it was 21.6 miles total. Another interesting little tidbit they've had, 58% of those remote locations all had a cell phone signal. But the trick with this is, all right, so if I'm not really that far removed from it, the trick is obviously knowing which way to go, which is why that pre-trip planning phase is so important. So truthfully, the short answer to the question, what should I do if I get lost, really is, well, it depends. If you are, when you're sitting there doing your planning phase, if you're sitting there and you are not confident that you can methodically work your way back out of the woods, and methodically is the key word there, you're better off to just sit down. Sit and wait on someone to come look for you. Go ahead and start thinking through how you're going to signal search and rescue when they come looking for you. But however, methodically working your way back out of the woods really is not difficult. The first thing you want to do right out the gate is, I do not want to aimlessly roam around looking for the trail or whatever. I want to, that spot that I sat down, that's going to be my home base. I'm not going to venture very far away from it without the ability to get back to that one spot. I want something that is going to stick out and obnoxiously signal me that, hey, this is my home base. So I'm going to take something like this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to hang this as high up in a tree as I possibly can so that I can see this going forward. And now this is home base. I'm not going to stray too far away from this without a way to get back to it. From there, I also then have a compass. I'll show you how to do this with a compass, and I'll show you how to do this without a compass, but ideally this is going to be your more reliable option. Okay, to show you how this is going to work, I'm going to come here and draw my little tree. You can see my black marker is just about out there. Come in here and put my little frilly, I'm not sure what kind of tree that is, it's pretty jacked up, but that's my tree. So I'm going to come in here real fast, and I'm going to hang my bandana up nice and high where I can see it. So now from here, I'm going to take my compass and say I think that the trail is back this way. And I'm looking at my compass and I know, okay, that's west. So that's going to mean this is east. I mean this is north and this is south. So I'm going to take my compass, I'm going to shoot a bearing directly west, and I'm going to travel this way 50 meters or 50 paces. I don't see anything. I'm going to turn around and shoot my compass, take me right back to my tree. I'm going to turn around and reverse course and go the opposite way, 50 meters. Don't find anything over that way. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to start hitting these other directions. So I'm going to come out this way, 50. I'm going to go up this way, 50. If I still haven't seen anything, I'm always coming back to my main home base. So I'm kind of arching out. So now I'm going to come out, maybe go southwest, go southeast, northeast, northwest, all going 50 meters out each time. So I'm making a little circle that looks like this. So I still haven't seen anything, so now I'm going to go through, I'm going to repeat the process, but I'm going to go a little bit further out. So maybe now I'm going 100 meters, 100, all the way back around. And I'm going to keep repeating this process, stepping my way back out by a greater distance each time. So as we continue to do this, we're pushing this further and further out, which really makes something that in my head looks like a spider web when it's all said and done. And the one person that I did see mentioning it was Dan from Coalcracker Bushcraft. He was the only other person out there with a video that was using this same approach. So by the way, good job, Dan. I mentioned earlier that this was ideally, we were using a compass, but having said that, it's not absolutely 100% necessary that it's a compass, but it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult for you to do without one. So now I'll go through and show you without the compass. So since I don't have the compass, I'm more dependent on line of sight now in this situation. So I'm still marking my home base. I am going to go out as far as I can and still see this. And at that point then I need to mark another tree in that location. And again, I need to be able to see it all the way around. It needs to be something relatively loud that I'm not going to lose very easily. That's why on my trekking poles, I actually keep, on both poles, I keep a run of fluorescent duct tape, and I'll pull off pieces here. So I'm going to go out for my bandana, I'm going to walk as far as I can, I'm going to mark it with a piece of tape, and from there I'm going to walk out as far as I can where I can just still continue to see this and search, and then I know I'm going back to this piece of tape and I'm coming back to the bandana. So I'm going to do that same work, I'm going to do that same search grid, but I'm now, instead of depending on a compass, I'm now depending on both this and this. Okay guys, hopefully you found that beneficial and picked up a couple of nuggets there that can help you next time you're out on the trail. And as always, if you're out on the trail watching this right now, just remember, left foot, right foot, repeat. We'll see you out there soon.